These dichotomies seem to be rather overdrawn when looked at from the modern point of view. Physics no longer permits us to consign all the physical world to a strict causality, and teleology tells only part of the story of the soul, or psyche. Yet the essence of what Leibniz says goes right to the heart of the modern problem. Wherever it is still contained within a medical point of view, depth psychology treats the soul as though it were part of the physical world, subject to the principles of a rigid causality.
It was really interesting.
When Jung realized the inadequacy of a causality as principle of psychological interpretation, he turned to a teleological point of view, similar to that which Leibniz had described as the operating principle of the soul. In contrast to the original position of Freud, we now find an increasing tendency toward holistic theories that interpret the psyche from different conceptual approaches in terms of its purpose. We have already indicated, however, that the principle of teleology is also limited, so that when we follow it to its full implications, it leads us to a point where we must realize that something more is necessary. This is the process of thought that led you to begin work with synchronicity. A commensurate insight is involved in Leibniz's formulation of the functioning of body and soul. Leibniz considers both causality and teleology as partial principles whose operation is possible only because of the larger context that sustains them. The two realms, Leibniz says, are in harmony, each with the other. At this point, an interesting correlation emerges, and it has the greatest significance for the hypothesis of synchronicity. The body follows the principle of causality, the soul follows the principle of teleology. But the larger context, which contains them in harmony, cannot function by either of these principles. Body and soul subsist together as part of a pattern that is the universe as a whole. The significance of the pre-established harmony is that it sets the pattern within which the diversities of life may have their interconnections. The principle by which the pre-established harmony operates can be described as the maintenance of relationship between things that are bound to each other neither by any definite causal nexus nor by the inner intellect of the monad. It involves a holding together of the pattern of things, and this means that the individual and separate entities must be maintained in correspondence to each other as part of the harmonious pattern of the cosmos. The harmony of this pattern is not to be explained. It is simply the way the universe is. It is simply how the cosmos has been pre-established to provide the conditions for life. It is what Jung has referred to, borrowing that phrase quickly, as just so, and is what the ancient Chinese referred to as Tao. The primary grounds of being, the pervading principle of patterning and meaning in the cosmos. The principle by which the patterns of life are held together is neither causation nor teleology, but a principle that binds the entities of body and soul together. The master principle of the cosmos is thus not something that can be analyzed or measured. It is a subtle, hidden principle of correspondence that is somehow inherent in the patterning of the world. It is a principle that has had a fuller development in the East than in the West. But by the time Leibniz used it, it already had a substantial European history. Jung has drawn upon this history for the contents of his concept, and stressing the patterning of each particular moment of time, he has given it the name synchronicity.